I'm Sabaha. Hello, good morning, guys. Today, our topic is all about open source software. Sa maning open source software. So, open source software is a computer software that is released under a license in which the copyright holder grants users the rights to use, study, change, and distribute the software and its source code to anyone and for any purpose. Open source software may be developed in a collaborative public manner also. So, muna siya ang open source software. Next is, nabalik siya atong slides. Gadget lang. So, other niya nga kanang meaning asa kanang kuano sa atong open source software. It is also with multiple parties making modifications and improvements. It's inevitable that open source software will contain quality, performance, and security flaws. However, the broad base of code contributors can also mean that bugs are identified and fixed faster. So, mo to siya nga tong difficult meaning sa open source. So, unsa maning widely used open source software? So, prime examples of open source products are the Apache HTTP server, the e-commerce platform OS Commerce, then internet browsers, Mozilla Firefox, and Chromium. Kanang Chromium is the project where the vast majority of development of the freeware Google Chrome is done, and the full Office suite Libre Office. So, man siya ang iyang mga features, no? Mga examples niya nga nasa ka ng atong screen. And then next is the software piracy. Unsa maning software piracy? Pagpirata sa software. Pag illegal nga copyright. So, this is the act of stealing software that is legally protected. This stealing includes copying, distributing, modifying, or selling the software. Copyright laws were originally put into place so that the people who develop software programs, mga writers, graphic arts, o uban pa. So, for example is, inga na ka ng presa ng mga gapamaligya o mga DVD tape ng mga copyright na, so illegal na siya. Ginadakop na siya sa atong gobyerno o kanipong mga uban pa nga pag-copyright nimo sa kanang lugar or sa kanang software nga imong gikopy nga imong gihimo nga murag imo pero dai is kanang panagiya sa uban nga company or certain person, so mo na siya software piracy. Example. Next one is the software licensing. So, kung natay software piracy, ang pagpirata sa software, naapod ta gitawag nga software licensing. So, paghatag sa iyang license. So, unsa man ni siya? A software license is a document that provides legally binding guidelines for the use and distribution of software. The license also defines the responsibilities of the parties entering into the license agreement and may impose restrictions on how the software can be used. So, mga pamaagi ni siya mga guidelines sa mga agreement, mga kasabutan, no, nga usa ni siya kakanang legal nga document nga magkuan gyud no magpamatuod no kani siya is distributor gyud ani nga software. So mo to siya. So, a software license is a legal instrument governing the use of distribution of software under United States copyright law. All software is copyright protected in both source code and object code forms unless that software was developed by the United States government, in which case it cannot be copyrighted. So, atong source is ang Wikipedia. What are the different types of software licenses? So, unsa may siya? So, First is the public domain. Ang public domain is the most permissive type of software license. When software is in the public domain, anyone can modify and use the software without any restrictions. But you should always make sure it's secure before adding it to your own code base. So, mana siya. Itong definition sa public domain. Permissive type daw siya sa software license. And the next one is, number 2, is the permissive licensing. So, permissive licenses are also known as the Apache style or the BSD style. They contain minimal requirements about how the software can be modified or distributed. This type of software license is perhaps the most popular license used with free and open source software. Aside from the Apache license and the BSD license, another common variant for niya is the MIT license. And the third one is the LGPL or gitawag po siya nga GNU Leaser General Public License. It allows you to link to open source libraries in your software if you simply compile or link an LGPL licensed library with your own code. You can release your application under any license you want, even a proprietary license, but if you modify the library or copy parts of it into your code, you'll have to release your application under similar terms as the LGPL. So, na siya. And the fourth one is the copyleft. Ang sa maning copyleft? It is a licenses that are also known as reciprocal license or restrictive license. The most well-known example of a copyleft or reciprocal license is the GPL. These licenses allow you to modify the license code and distribute new works based on it, as long as they distribute any new works or adaptations under the same software license. For example, a component's license might say, the work is free to use and distribute for personal use only. So, any derivative you create would also be limited to personal use only. So, dito gid na siya, copyleft. So, the derivative is any new software you develop that contains the component. So, siyang copyleft. Next one is the proprietary. Kaning proprietary, of all types of software licenses, this is the most restrictive. So, kanang pinaka-restrict gyud. So, the idea behind it is that all rights are reserved. It's generally used for proprietary software where the work may not be modified or distributed. So, dili siya ma-modified or ma-distribute. So, mga proprietary, hindi nang gina-restrict yun siya. So, difference between system software and application software. So, sa atong computer hardware is natag ito nga kuan. System software o application software. So, ang function sa system software ay siya ang manage sa kanang file management tools, operating system, utilities, assembler, debugger, compiler. So, mo diha siya may nagkuan in charge. Ang application software pod is siya ang word processing sa games, sa spreadsheets, communications, graphics and databases. So siya ang in charge diha ang dapita. And the next one is the system software. So mo ni siya example mga kuan kilid. Balik sa ta. So now forward siya. So system software is used for operating computer hardware. On the other hand, application software is used by user to perform specific tasks. It is also installed on the computer when operating system is installed. Some examples of system softwares are compiler, assembler, debugger, a driver, and etc. Samples niya is operating systems, OS like Mac OS, Linux, Android, and Microsoft Windows, then computational science software, game engines, then search engines, industrial automation, and software as a service applications. Mao to siyang example na sa atong software. So, application software. Unsa man pagkalainan ani sa system software. So, kaning application software or gitawag pod siya nga for short kanang gitawag siya nga software that performs specific task or an end user. So for short ang gitawag sa iya or application software. These are also app versions of common services such as those providing weather or transport information or apps for customers to interact with companies. So mangin ni siya mga apps. So mo ni siyang application software. So, munang gito nga app kay short term siya sa application software. So, para sa na makita niyo nga mga icons dara sa kilid. Then, the next one is types of application software and what they do. So, kaning ang first is ang Microsoft Word. Ano sa may trabaho ng Microsoft Word? It is mentioned Microsoft Word as being a great example of application software. So next one is the Google Chrome, Firefox, Skype, Windows Media Player, VLC Media Player, then Microsoft Access ug ang Photoshop. So kanang kuan naa sila mga function no? So ang Microsoft Word, so makita nimo dira ang kanang kuan kung mag type ka og na kay mga gusto nga encode so diha ang imong gamiton ang kanang gamit nga Microsoft Word or magbuhat ka og mga report. So di gyapon ginagamit gyapon kay ng Microsoft Word. Google Chrome kung kuan ka mag-search kag unsa imong i-research. Then Firefox is another also mga kanang mga website no nga kanang kuan pwede nimo sudlan no kay para nga maka-research ka. O kani pong Skype is another another type of social media no kanang mag-Skype no or Viber mga pares na sila. Windows Media Player, then VCL Media Player, Microsoft Access, then Photoshop kanang mag-Photoshop ka sa kanang mga pictures man siya. Then the next one is the difference between freeware and shareware. Shareware is often confused with freeware, but they have two distinctly different purposes. Freeware is copyrighted software that is available at no cost for unlimited usage. With shareware, users are encouraged to share the limited version of the software to promote larger distribution and sales. So, mo to siya. So first na to nga i-discuss kanang first na to nga topic is ang freeware no. So ang freeware ko ang iyang kalainan sa shareware is ang freeware refers to software that anyone can download from the internet and use for free. While ang sharers kanang give users a chance to try the software before buying it. So i-try sa experience sa daan. Then sa freeware, all the features are free. So libre siya kay free good. Shareware, most of the times, all features are not available or have limited use to use all the features of the software. User has to purchase the software. So, kinalampanin mo paliton. Freeware programs can be distributed free of cost, while ang shareware may or may not be distributed freely. In many cases, author's permission is needed to distribute the shareware. So, maupod na siya. The next is ang freeware is Adobe PDF, Google Talk, Yahoo Messenger, MSN Messenger, while ang shareware is ang WinZip Internet Download Accelerator 3.1. Muna siya nga mga kuan yung shareware. Mo ni ang mga example sa shareware. WinZip 18. Kana makita nimo siya dara. And the next one is the freeware example. So, popular naman siya mga free software na makita nimo no. So, muna sila freeware. So, that's all. Thank you so much.